So welcome back, guys, to the very last episode of Shift Podcast. Very sad. Today we will be driving into the world of art, creativity, and social change. And like, who better to talk to than people from VAST? So welcome, Ashim. Before we go into the podcast, let's play a game. It's not that difficult, okay? So it's called Your Name, Your Passion, and a Secret.
Secret. Hi, I'm Sonam Dikki, and my interest, hobby?
Your passion.
Passion. It's hard to say, but I like creative stuffs and people. So yeah, I have been part of VAST since 2014, so I like painting most of the time. And my secret, I don't know, I think people who are around me, I think know a lot already, so I don't know what secret to share here.
So Ajim Sonam's an open book then. And I'm sad. You said you liked creative people. I am not creative at all.
But you do look creative.
Okay, so before we go into the shift details, Ajim, let's talk about VAST. I think most people know what VAST is, but still I'd like to hear it from you. What is VAST all about?
So VAST Bhutan, it initially started back in 1998. So we are almost like 26 years already. And then it was started by a group of passionate artists, namely Ajaka Moangdi, there's Pumotile sir, Jampil Cheta sir, and there are two others, Chikmi Lote and Pema Dorji. So they started it initially as a club, and now it's a registered CSO. VAS has almost touched about like 5,000 plus individuals' life, and it's not just about art, it's about bringing people together, building a community, nurturing a creative society. So yeah, VAS initially started off like that. And in 2016, VAS also got this Order of Merit Gold by His Majesty the King. So it was in honor and like in recognition of VAS Bhutan's support in art, volunteerism, and also building up the community. Even during the pandemic time, so VAS had the opportunity to do the whole Paro International Airport revamp work. So yeah, we were quite engaged there, and then now you can see that you have a whole new airport at Paro. So
that's great. So VAST, it stands for Volunteer Artists Studio in Thimphu.
Now we don't want to call ourselves as Voluntary Artist Studio of Thimphu, because now we want to just call ourselves VAST Bhutan, because initially our group of our founders, they started it as a voluntary studio, but then now I feel like with the change in time, people just see us as a voluntary organization that we might do stuffs for free, but it's not like that. So we want to support the art and the artist community, so we want to just call ourselves as VAST Bhutan, as an enormous and massive, yeah.
Yeah, so I also know that VAST has been there for like 26 years, like you mentioned, and I know a lot of artists from VAST, but they don't know me back, and I'm pretty sure they give credit to VAST for where they are now, and then VAST's impact has been vast. So yeah, it's really great, because I think VAST would be one of a kind organization that focuses on art and emotion. So now moving into the shift details now. I know that VAST was involved in last year's shift campaign as well, this year as well. Now maybe if you could touch on this, how did you meet, get introduced to shift? What did you do last year? What are you doing this year? Maybe if you could touch on that as well.
Like you mentioned earlier, so how you know VAST artists, no? So similar like that, we have a lot of our senior artists who have now ventured into different organizations, different fields and all. So we heard about this shift from our senior, and then as soon as we heard about this shift campaign, we jumped right at it. So we submitted our proposal, and then we're quite fortunate to have been selected, so yeah.
Maybe if Ashim could, talk about the last year campaign that Shift did, and also maybe highlight on some of the things that you're doing in this year's campaign as well.
For last year, we had divided our campaign in 2 segments. So the first segment was observed for a 2-day, that was on World Environment Day, 4th of June. So on 4th of June, we had a national level all women's art exhibition where we saw around 55 artwork entries. And then we also had a talk by inspiring women artists who shared their experiences and also connecting art and environment. And on the second day, which was on 5th June, we had a workshop where we had almost around 20 students from different schools coming in, and they created a beautiful mural artwork and also did their individual artwork. Yeah, and the second segment, which is my favorite, is the art fest that we did over the 4 days during the Tsechu festival. So that was a huge success for us, I believe, because we saw almost 10,000 plus participants and spectators coming in and then jamming in with us. We had a huge mural wall where kids and everyone were welcome to come and paint on it. So they had different expressions, and some instances where we saw that strangers came in and then they just painted on the wall and then somehow ended up looking at each other and then became friends. So these were a few of the incidences that happened last year, and that was mainly to raise awareness on the importance of art education from a very young age to children. And then for this year's as well, we have divided our Shift campaign in 2 phases. So the first phase that happened was in 5th June during World Environment Day. That event, we invited around 40 students from different schools in Thimphu, and then we had a workshop for them where they would come and paint and then express what the future they envision, what future they want. So yeah, that was it. And then the second phase that we are planning to have is in November during World Children Day. So we are going to take this segment to Gelifu this time, and then there we are also hoping to invite around 40 students from different schools in Gelifu, and we will give them art workshops and then also let them express what sort of future they want. So this year's theme for the Shift campaign is Art for the Future. So mindful creation, celebrating children and environment.
Yeah, I think VAST, they did a really good job last year, especially during the Techu. I was there as well. I went there during the first day, saw some adults drawing, and I was like, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I went there were a lot of kids, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it today because all of them are kids. So, but then it was really pretty though. It's really art, I feel like it's very underrated. Nobody takes it seriously. They think it's just a hobby, and then they're oh, we can't make a career out of it, but you can. And then our focus mostly is in STEM, but then I think this came from VAST as well during last year's learning session, where you said instead of STEM it should be STEAM, including art as well. So yeah, that's really great, Ajam. But with this year's campaign, what's your overall goal? What are you looking into with the Shift campaign that you're working on today, especially towards the community, but at the same time, young artists who are also involved in the campaign? What do you want to achieve?
So through this campaign, we are trying to educate on raising awareness on environment as well as the well-being of children. So also getting children to think about what sort of future they want and being mindful of the things that they use to create art, and also how they can contribute towards sustainability.
Yeah, true. Coming to the future, well, I personally believe that art is growing in Bhutan slowly but gradually. But you might, I don't know what Vast thinks, probably the same. But like, what do you think? Do you think art is growing in Bhutan? How's it progressing? Yeah.
I started from 2014 as a young volunteer with VAS, so it's almost like 10 years now. So over this span of my time at VAS, I noticed that the appreciation for art is now growing a lot in our community. So, and also I've been working with VAS professionally for the last 2 years, so I see great recognition and appreciation from our community. And also we are receiving a lot of attention from globally, so yeah, it's growing, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I think people are like very siloed, especially when they think about the creative industry, like artists and all that stuff. But I feel like art, it plays a very important role, even for like our organization, YPA Bhutan, when we do like awareness campaign and all that stuff. When it's like when we have a poster, we don't make it very mundane. We're not like our focus is on SRHR, right? And we want like youths and like adults as well to like be like, oh, so this is what it means. But like just writing it down, like what is SRHR? SRHR doesn't make sense. Having like that artistic touch to it, it plays a very important role in the awareness campaigns when you do stuff like that as well. So I think hopefully in the future, like you said, it is getting recognition, but not enough. It needs a lot more. So yeah, I think art in Bhutan might have a very bright future. Yeah, so working to you are like 26 years, man. You've been like come so far, and I'm just very hopeful. Like I'm just hopeful that art will blow up, because I know how difficult it is, especially for artists when they're creating, like murals and all that stuff. I've heard stories about how volunteers from VAST, people from VAST are like asked to volunteer and do stuff.
That's why we have now moved to just VAST Bhutan.
Yeah, so it's not voluntary artist studio anymore. It's just VAST.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming to the end of the podcast, as of now, in Bhutan, there are a lot of youths, and I'm pretty sure almost like 25% of them are very passionate about art. They like doing art, not just art and other creative things as well. Cinematography, that's one. Digital art, that's another. Dance, singing, and all that stuff, right? And now coming from Vas, who's been working in this field, in a very underrated field, right, industry, what advice would you like to give to our young artists in Bhutan?
I believe that our young ones are very talented, which even like adults like us get surprised sometimes. So just hang on to your inner talent or your inner call, and then just work on it. One advice that my dad used to give me back in school days was like, if you have something in your mind and then you want to achieve it, don't be worried that you might not achieve it, because your mind is constantly thinking about it, working on it. So yeah, you'll eventually get there. So yeah, just focus on your talent, and yeah, the world is full of surprises. Thank you.
I second that, and this came from Ajim Sonam. If you're passionate about something, work on it. Don't be like Madrobe. All right. So this is the very last episode of our Shift podcast. Very sad. I'm about to tear up, but a word of, my last word to all of the youths in Bhutan is, like Ajim said, if you're passionate about something, work on it. Youths have great potential, and it's just that you need to believe in yourself, remember. And so yeah, like shout out to Save the Children, Shift, all of the shifters this year, and also like for the last 6-7 episodes we've been talking about youth, and I think I should let y'all know that even our podcast team here, it's all youth, no adults involved, only 30 and below. So yeah, that's the end of the Shift podcast. I hope y'all are like very sad, well, but then you won't get to see my face especially. So yeah, that's the end. And if there's any signature move that Vast has,
I have my recent favorite, my boss son. He's quite small and young, but he does this whenever he's happy. Like nothing, no comment or anything like that, but just this. Yeah, just this.
So yeah, that's the end of our podcast. Hoping we'll see you again next campaign. So yeah, bye.
Save the children.